Who else would get the NHL trade rumor mill spinning this season than the Calgary Flames? A recent Frank Seravalli report went viral after he stated that Craig Conroy was looking into acquiring a young middle six center. It didn't take long for hockey writers across the league to get involved and reveal some new Flames trade targets. We're going to get into all that and more in this video, but first I want to welcome you to Flames Digest. I'm Mark Griffith. If you're new around here and you love the Flames, make sure you subscribe so you can stay up to date on all the latest news, updates, reports, and rumors revolving around your Calgary Flames. We would love to welcome you to the Flames Digest family. And apologies, I've got a bit of a stuffed nose, got a cold coming along. Hopefully it doesn't affect the video too much, but let's hop in and talk about these new trade targets. So we've already made a couple of videos on the channel, kind of revolving around these new trade rumors. The Flames want to acquire a player after all the dishing out they've done, giving up the real roster player for future assets. But now it seems like the tables have turned slightly. So let's hop straight in and talk about this article first. And there's going to be, I believe, 5 or 6 kind of new trade targets in this video. But the first one is this one here. So 3 young centers the Flames need to target for a trade. This one comes from Rupert McDonald himself. And it's going to be an interesting one. 3 young centers the Flames need to target. Not even should target. Need to target. So the Calgary Flames are looking to add to their roster. Yes, you heard that right. Despite being early into what most are considering a rebuilding stage, it is being reported that General Manager Craig Conroy is scouring the trade market in hopes of adding a player to his group. Will that change now that the Flames are no longer undefeated and can't have the 82-0-0 season? I guess we'll just have to wait and see, but it still would be interesting. And, a center doesn't mean that the rebuild is over if they are young enough. Some people still are denying a rebuild, and some people, are full-on tank mode. All rebuilds look different. It's very interesting to see what the Flames are going to do this season. But either way, let's hop in with the first one, which is Shane Pinto, who, funnily enough, was actually the one that I proposed as soon as the Seravalli report came out. And again, we know it's a Frank Seravalli report, so take it with a grain of salt. It might mean nothing. We'll actually have to hear from Conroy himself. But either way, let's start with Pinto being here. Though he has since signed an extension, there were talks not too long ago that Shane Pinto wanted to be moved by the Ottawa Senators. It never got as far as a trade request, but given all the speculation, it seems safe to assume that he was clearly disgruntled with the organization. And it's funny, because Ottawa obviously is a very strange team. Are they good? Are they bad? You never know through the first 30 games of a season, and then they always end up being bad. And Shane Pinto isn't exactly at the top of their lineup. Could he be? Yes, absolutely. He's actually really, really good, but maybe, he needs some new scenery to really excel. And not only could he fit in the middle 6 here, he could maybe fit in the top 6 as well. So that's one option. Let's get into the next one, which is Cody Glass. Cody Glass may not have too many opportunities left. He had some serious superstar potential years ago, being selected 6th overall by the Vegas Golden Knights in 2017. I believe that was their first ever draft pick. After failed stints with the Golden Knights and Predators, however, he ended up with the Penguins for the 2024-25 season. And already, maybe things aren't going to go to plan with the Penguins already, since he has kind of failed in Vegas, failed in Nashville, and that potential really isn't there anymore. So why would the Flames want to acquire a guy like this? Well, he is still relatively young, maybe a little older than what the Flames are looking for, and he could fit in the middle 6 as an instant replacement right away. But what if he stinks again? What's the point in even going for this guy? If he's not good enough for the Penguins right now, he's probably not good enough for the Flames. And that's no shot at the Penguins. I'm just saying, within the, life cycle of where the teams are at in terms of rebuild, contending, whatever, if he's not good enough for the Pens, he's probably not good enough for the Flames, which is funny because they, of course, play each other tonight, which should be a very exciting game at the Saddle Dome. Final one from this article, Kirby Dach, the man from the thumbnail. The last name on this list may be a stretch, but boy, would it be exciting. It wasn't very long ago that Kirby Dach was viewed as one of the up-and-coming stars in the NHL, but injuries have really taken the shine off the 23-year-old. There's still plenty of potential that remains, but he's struggling to find it with the Montreal Canadiens, having registered just 1 assist in 5 games this season. And again, if Kirby Dach can't really cut it on the Habs, a Habs team that's not necessarily in a similar position as the Flames, but still kind of similar teams in terms of expectations, It's interesting. He does definitely have more potential than the first two we looked at. Well, actually, I shouldn't even say that. Shane Pinto probably does. But Kirby Dach, I don't know. Chicago gave up on him early. That was probably for a good reason. And not being able to find it with this young Habs core that should be really good, I'm just not too sure about this one either. But let me know, out of those three, who do you think? But don't worry, we have more coming. Let's get into our next article from the Hockey News. And it comes from Michael DeRosa. And he says, Flyers could be good trade partner for Flames. Earlier this week, NHL insider Frank Seravalli reported that the Calgary Flames are looking to acquire another center for their middle six. The Flames have had a hot start to the season and are done selling off their former top players. Well, apparently. So they are now looking to be more competitive. So what can the Flyers offer the Flames? Well, the first one, Morgan Frost, a 25-year-old, is in the final season of his contract and will be an RFA at the end of the campaign. In 5 games this season, the 2017 first-round pick has 3 assists and a -5 rating. When noting that he is still pretty young and has shown that he can produce offensively, he could be a player that grabs Calgary's attention. And honestly, not a terrible option to look at. Again, a little bit older than what the Flames are looking for. Another 2017 first-round pick being shelled out here. But it's interesting. He actually still does have quite a bit of potential. He just hasn't been on teams, really good enough for him to showcase what he truly can do. Get that guy a good line mate, and we'll see. And again, that's no shot at the players on the Flyers. It's just interesting to see what could potentially happen. He's shown great flashes at certain points in his career, and not a terrible option for the Flames to at least consider. Will they trade for him? I highly doubt it, but at least consider it. The next one here, though, I wouldn't consider at all. But again, the article is the article. Lawton, a 30-year-old, is another Flyer who the Flames could keep an eye on. The veteran forward is under contract until the end of the 2025-26 season. In addition, his ability to provide decent secondary offensive production, physicality, and solid defensive play could make him a strong addition to a Flames club looking to be better. And this one is more so if the Flames want to go for it this year. This is a safe pick at a guy who can step in right away, and we know what he's all about. There's no need to look into potential for the future. There's no need to look into, is he a part of this rebuild? Is he going to stay with the Flames? Nothing like that. It would more so be, if the Flames are trying to contend, this is someone they could go after. Is this the man specifically they go after? I kind of doubt it, but either way, an interesting pick here. Out of the two, I'd be more inclined to look at Frost, but overall, again, very, very interesting. Now, the last player I'm going to look at is the most ridiculous one in my opinion, and it comes from another article, and it is the Maple Leafs might have an option for Conroy. Yes, the Toronto Maple Leafs always find their way into these kind of trade rumors, and this one, again, it's kind of like the Lawton scenario, but let's hop in. One potential trade partner the Flames might want to talk to is the Toronto Maple Leafs. Speculation is that they might be willing to part with David Kampf, a player who could meet Calgary's needs. Interesting, because already that's not a young guy at all, and he's more so been a fourth liner recently. So is that middle six? Not too sure. It might be nicer if he was a couple of years younger and a right shot. Isn't that exactly what was reported? But Kampf, 29, is in the age range of what Conroy is looking for. Not too sure about that. Whoever wrote this article, I'm not going to throw them under the bus. He's locked in for 2 more seasons after this at $2.4 million per season, and he is strong on faceoffs with defensive acumen. For the Flames, adding a player like Kampf could improve their depth and show a team that is winning that they intend to help them keep winning. He's not expensive, and while he's got a 10-team no trade, the Flames are looking pretty good right now. He might see an opportunity for an elevated role and more responsibility. Honestly, if I were him, I would much rather stay with the Leafs because at the end of the day, players want to win cups. Some of them obviously go for the money, but if I were him, I would stay in Toronto, and Toronto has a better chance than Calgary. You would think. I know that probably just upset so many people, but you would think they have a better chance at the cup this year, but let's face it, neither are going to win. But either way, very interesting. I'm not too sure. It would have to be more of a cap dump scenario for Tree Living, and then it could make sense for the Flames, and we'd get assets, but Kampf, I'm not too sure. Honestly, let me know what you think down below from all 6 of these options. And quickly, before we get into the comment of the day, we're just going to do a quick conclusion from all of these articles. It actually comes back from the first one by Mr. Rupert McDonald, but I do like what it says here. So a sensible move from the Flames. Though there were some Flames fans rather upset when they first heard Seravalli's report, making a move for a centerman, provided they are young, makes sense. At a certain point, you cannot continue to just load up on prospects and picks and essentially just hope that they pan out. Not only will it overcrowd your farm system, but there's also no guarantee they all turn out. Instead, moving a piece for a young, more proven asset is the right way to go, and Conroy is, at the very least, looking into doing that. So exploring all options. It could make sense. It could be a very sensible move for the Flames to go after a right-handed or a right-shot young center, middle six. I mean, preferably better. That would just obviously cost a lot. So either way, the report isn't quite as ridiculous as a lot of people think it is. Is it going to happen? I kind of doubt it, but still, don't be surprised if one of these trades does end up happening. Now let's wrap up this video with the comment of the day, as we love to do. And this one comes from the most recent video on the channel about some of the prospects doing quite well down in the A and the Flames' hot start. And of course, their loss against Seattle. And we have one from a regular around here, Guitar Memoir, one of the just honestly smartest Flames fans in the entire world. But he says, I thought the Flames were buoyed by the fourth line and goaltending in our last W. We just had goaltending against the Kraken, which is too bad. That's why the Chicago and Seattle games are very different. I might have shifted Coronado back to the fourth line and Klapka up to the first line halfway through the third. Completely agree. I wouldn't call up Pelche yet either. I'm not sure he would clear waivers again if we sent him down. I would like to see him called up at the end of the year if we are out of the playoffs. Completely agree once again. Rory Cairns, however, is waiver exempt. Maybe we will see him if we need another call-up. If we need that extra oomph, that extra blast of offense, this would be a great option. And again, I agree with literally everything you said in this comment. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe like what you saw here today and have a wonderful rest of your day.